We are joined by Nationals Senator for New South Wales, Perrin Davey. Good morning.
Good morning, Simon, and congratulations. You pronounced it correctly. It's the new strain that I've heard so many different variants of its name. I think there's as many variants of the name as there are for COVID.
That's right. I mean, it does sound like a nice word, Omicron. It's a nice sounding word, but it's got us all a bit nervous, hasn't it?
It has got us nervous. We are taking precautions. I mean, I'm devastated that the borders are not reopening as soon as planned. The fact that we're not bringing in the skilled workers to help our farmers get their harvests off is really upsetting. But it is better to be safe than sorry. We've learnt from past mutations, so we are being cautious. On the surface, it sounds like it's highly transmissible, but maybe milder symptoms. But until we really know and have certainty, it's better to be cautious.
And grain growers talking about Australia's largest ever grain crop. I guess it's pretty bad timing not being able to bring people in to help. What's the outfall of that? How much is at stake?
Well, most of the grain growers have started harvest at the very least, and hopefully not too many of them are getting negative impacts from the wonderful rain we're getting. It's a catch-22. So hopefully the grain harvests will be able to come off okay. The more concern is getting seasonal workers for our horticulture industry and our fruit pickers. We really need to get those people on board, and also other industries such as meat and dairy.
And we'll talk more about developments in Parliament as well this morning, but something that you've got in the works, the Regional Banking Taskforce is going to look at bank closures, and you're calling for submissions, and I think submissions close on the 18th of December. Who do you want to hear from?
Everyone. Basically, we really want to hear from small businesses, what the impact has been on their ability to do business and conduct their business, but also what may help them going forward. In the absence of a physical bank branch, is there something like the idea of mobile banking or joint resource, so banks sharing a single facility? Are they utilising bank at post services? And where are the gaps in what they're experiencing? Because I think the days of the traditional bank, even in metropolitan areas, are limited, but we need to replace it with something, because we're still a cash society, and we still need financial services, doesn't matter where you live.
We've seen in our region recently the Commonwealth Bank not closing branches, but reducing hours of operation. So you have to get in before lunchtime in a few towns now. Has that been a new tactic of branches, an alternative to closing them altogether?
It is. We've had our first face-to-face meeting with the task force, and the banks were explaining this is a new option. So once upon a time, 4 years ago, if they ran their eyes over the numbers, they would lock the door, sack the staff, and walk away. Now, in the days where there's more online banking, more video banking, and more telebanking, what they've found is that instead of closing the branch altogether, they can change the hours, so it's a face-to-face service for limited hours of the day, and then the staff stay on full time, but close the doors to the public and dedicate themselves to video and telebanking. So it's reassuring to me that our staff are still being utilised, the people aren't losing their jobs, but we still need to make sure that the people who want to walk in the door can do so.
Okay, now last week the Prime Minister tabled the religious discrimination bill in Parliament. Why is this necessary? Why do we need to allow more discrimination in Australia?
Well, it's not to allow more discrimination per se. It's to protect people who have a legitimate and true belief. You don't want me to employ people, and then if I found out that they go to a different church to me on Saturday, I turn around and sack them. And at the moment, there is no protection. Unlike I can't sack someone for their racial background. I can't sack someone for their gender or for their sexuality, but I can still sack them if I disagree with their religion. So we need to bring the balance in so that those people are protected. And this is not just about religion. It's also about choosing not to have a religion. So if I'm very religious as an employer, but I'm not a faith-based organisation, I can't sack someone for being an atheist. So it's a two-way protection. People are very much only focusing on sort of the traditional standard, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant protections, but this is about all religions, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhists, Hindus, and atheists.
It would also protect expressions of belief. I mean, is that going to embolden people to make discriminatory claims and under the protection of this? I guess there is an argument that in some ways this would lead to more discrimination, not less.
Well, I would like to think that we're a better population than that, but we have built safeguards into it. So you can't use the excuse that I'm expressing my faith and then go on to vilify or encourage hatred or offend people. What you can do is quote from the Bible or a book of faith, and that is a statement of belief, but it has to be a legitimate statement of belief, and you actually have to believe it too. You can't just go and run your finger through a religious tome and then pick out the most offensive paragraphs and run with that and say, oh, but it's a statement of belief. You've actually got to be a believer.
Great to talk to you again, Senator Perrin-Davey. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
My pleasure, and you have a great summer. I believe you're the standard program's going on a summer break soon.
Oh, I think the 17th of December is our last full show, so I've got another couple of weeks to look forward to. Yes, you too, Senator Perrin-Davey. Thank you very much, National Senator for New South Wales, Perrin-Davey there.
Authorised by Perrin-Davey, the Nationals, Deniliquin.